3 things that a potential relationship person that you're going to have a relationship with, I should say, could say that should mean you run, you take off. Or you could also use this the opposite way as well. Never say these things to anybody you're in a relationship with either. It's Y101, Adam and Allison, how we're kicking off hashtag tag today. So the first thing that they say you should see as a red flag if somebody says it to you, all my exes are crazy. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, because like the common denominator is you.
I think that that's probably a good point. That's probably a good thing to say. That's a red flag for me.
Yeah.
The second one, you're too good for me. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I don't like that because that's someone who's always going to try to tear you down.
You think so?
Yes, that's somebody. I mean, they're being honest with you in that moment of like, you're too good for me. But if they're making a point to say it, they are going to constantly try to make you feel smaller.
You're saying that if somebody says that to you, you should listen to them.
Yeah, exactly.
Say, you know what? Yeah, I am. See you later. Hit the bricks, bud. The final one, and this one I'm not sure that I exactly agree with as far as being something that's a red flag that somebody could say. I'm not looking for anything serious.
I mean, it makes sense as to why I had such bad luck dating because I would always lead with that. Like I would always, and guys would never talk to me again.
That's hilarious. Not looking for anything serious, but I don't know. As a guy, like that sounds like something I would like to hear. It sounds like a low pressure thing.
Well, but see, I think that's why it can be a red flag. Like on the surface, it sounds good. It sounds transparent, and it is more transparent than maybe some of these other ones. But I think that means you're kind of in a weird limbo that maybe you're not going to know exactly what you want because clearly you're on a date. So this isn't just a one-off situation, but also you're not looking for anything serious. So things could get messy.
What about this is a big thing that I have always said. I'll just see where it goes. I'm not looking for one thing or another.
That could be a red flag.
Do you think that's a red flag too?
Yeah, because you don't know what you want. Why should I waste my time with someone who doesn't know what they want?
All right, hashtag tag. What would you say?
Hashtag red flag text.
Goes with that. Red flag text. What could somebody say? Would you like to play the game? Hashtag tag. Text us with your
hashtag red flag text.
Couple from the internet. Dylan says, when you take a few minutes to text back and get hit with hello, where'd you go? Like I'm not doing things right now. I'm doing things right now. I'll text back when I'm not.
Hashtag red flag text.
Have to agree with that.
Too needy is too much. Natalie says if they text after 10 p.m. with anything along the lines of, are you in my area right now? Hashtag red flag text.
I mean, what if they just want to know? What if they want to bring you a McFlurry or something like that?
I mean, come on. That's a you up text.
Kayla says, when it seems like they didn't read the text at all or only respond to part of the questions you asked.
Hashtag red flag text. That is frustrating. But I feel like that sometimes is the difference between men and women because, like, I'll put a bunch of things in one text and the man will only respond to one of them. And I've heard from my other single friends that for men, we have to break it down. Do you find that? Like, if I were to send you 3 questions in one text, would you only answer one or would you take the time to answer all 3?
If I didn't want to answer one of the questions, I would skip over it.
But if I sent it separately, you would have to answer it, right?
Only if you waited for my answer to the first question.
Okay.
Sam says, I have no filter.
Hashtag red flag text.
No, you're just rude. I'm a diva.
Hashtag red flag text.
Nope, you're just self-centered. Love it.
Laura sent in a text that says, send me a pic. Hashtag red flag text.
Liz said, sorry, my phone died.
Hashtag red flag text.
And you couldn't charge it in the 3 days that you ghosted? These are great. 601-995-1017.
My personal one is anytime a guy has tried to turn my name into a poem. Hashtag red flag text. The one that I remember was anytime I see your picture, all is on in my life.
Okay.
Hashtag red flag text.
I'm going to say for me, anytime a girl says anything like, I could never live blank. I could never, like, I don't like the idea that, I don't know, either you love your hometown so much that you could never leave, or you hate your hometown one way or another. You know what I mean?
Oh, that's an interesting one. That's a little more deep than I was expecting you to get.
I'm a deep guy, but
That's another red flag text.
Hashtag red flag text.
Somebody just texted you up.
Hashtag red flag text.
Oh, those are so funny. Jerry said anything starting with I wouldn't/I won't lie to you.
Hashtag red flag
Yeah,
text.
I'm going to assume you're lying from then on out.
Brentland sent a really interesting one. Texting in all caps.
Hashtag red flag text.
So that means it's unacceptable to be like, this is very important. I'm putting all these in all caps, blah, 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 blah.
Some people get anxious because they feel like you're screaming at them.
Well, sometimes people need to be screamed at. What else we got? 601-995-1017.
Amy saying if somebody says we're just casually dating.
Hashtag red flag text.
This one's interesting too. Starting a conversation with what are you doing instead of how are you doing?
Hashtag red flag text.
What if they're more interested in what you have going on versus how you are feeling?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. That one's kind of semantics to me, but not going to judge you. Thank you so much for the text. Another one just said WYA or WYD.
Yeah.
Where you at? What you doing?
Hashtag red flag text.
Deona says if they need to borrow money right out of the gate.
Yeah.
Hashtag red flag text.